We are Tottenham TV, back here for another player ratings video as Spurs beat QPR by 2-0 in the second pre-season game. Bloody long player ratings today, about 24 players I think it is. So let's get straight into it. Let's try and fly through these. Brandon Austin, we're going to start off with 7s all round for Brandon. He didn't have too much to do in the first half, but I thought everything that he did do, he did it to a fairly good quality. The standout moment was obviously that big save. I can't remember who it was from, but it was an effort from quite far out and his fingertips onto the crossbar. So I thought that was really impressive.
Yeah, it was from Coley, the winger for QPR. Really great effort from 25 yards, and he managed to get over it. Obviously, following up his save from the last game against Hearts, which he had to use his reaction. So a couple of really good saves to add to his repertoire, his compilation, I guess, once he ends his Spurs career. He'll have those 2 saves to show for it. But yeah, good stuff, but didn't have much to do in that first half, to be honest.
Moving on to Pedro Porro, 6s all round for Pedro. I thought he showed a bit of rust in there with his passing, potential crosses as well. But I thought everything defensively he did pretty spot on, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought in build-up he was pretty good, and I thought his passing out the back, which I think is his biggest strength, when he's taking the ball from deep and he's finding these creative passes, he was doing that. But when he got into the final third, his delivery was a bit off. So yeah, only gave him a 6.
Archie Gray up next, 7s all round, playing as a centre-back once again. I thought it was a good display from Archie, maybe not as silky as it was in the first game, but I felt like he got tested a lot more in this game defensively and pretty much passed with flying colours.
Yeah, I think he was still solid, was still able to play the ball forward, maybe not as often as against Hearts, maybe didn't have as much time on the ball, but I still thought he barely put a foot wrong defensively. He was really solid. Didn't see as many as the sliding challenges and progressive passes as we did in the first game, but still a solid display.
Ollie Skip, his centre-back partner, up next. 8s all round for Ollie Skip, a much better display from the first time out, as he was pretty poor in that game, but he was exceptional here. Real proper centre-back's performance from Ollie Skip. He was putting in those challenges, he wasn't letting anyone pass, and the QPR forwards were having a real hard time to try and get past him, so I'll give him a lot of credit for this one.
Yeah, winning the ball back many times. Actually, his pressing was really good as well, being a lot more proactive in this game than he was against Hearts, being a lot more combative. Didn't see too much of his passing on display in this one, but I thought off the ball, really good defensive work from him and a much better display than against Hearts.
Next up is Jamie Donnelly, 7 from Sim, 6 from me. I thought the reason I not marked him down one is just because there was quite a few misplaced passes. I thought he was a bit careless on the ball at times. But apart from that, you know, it was pretty much carrying on from his last display. A few nice plays on the ball, pretty combative as well. But yeah, I just marked him down for a bit of sloppiness on the ball.
Yeah, I like the look of him in this role because I think actually when he's up against, I think it was Anderson on his side, and he dealt with him pretty well down that side and made sure that every delivery he was getting his body in front of it and getting blocks on the crosses. On the ball, there were some sloppy moments, but I think there's some really crisp passing as well, and he's picking the ball up in nice areas. So I was quite encouraged by his display, so I gave him a 7.
Yves Bissouma up next. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 9. I gave him a mark up because of that brilliant goal that he did score. A nice drive up the pitch, 1-2 with Dejan Kulusevski, and he takes it round the keeper effortlessly and slots it in the back of the net. But apart from that, I thought he was all over the place in a positive way in the first half. Proper all-action display. His drives forward, interceptions, blocks, tackles. It's everything that you want to see from Yves Bissouma, so hopefully he carries on in this vein.
Yeah, looked really confident. I thought he was getting on the ball, striding forward. Actually, his passing forward was a lot crisper and a lot more progressive, less safe than it has been over the past few months. And obviously, the way he took the goal was exceptional. Really good half of foot from Bissouma, and I thought following on from a solid performance against Hearts as well. So, encouraging stuff for Yves.
Yeah. Lucas Bergvall up next. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him an 8. Unfortunately, he did have to go off with an injury around 20-25 minutes in. But I thought with the 25 minutes that he did have on the pitch, he really was the conductor, the orchestrator. He was pulling the strings, looking really creative, and he was a real handful for the QPR midfield to deal with.
Yeah, I was really liking the look of him, and it's such a shame that his day ended after half an hour because he was really looking like taking that game by the scruff of the neck a bit, getting a lot of touch on the ball, passing the ball forward, knitting the play together. We definitely, our football suffered a bit when he did go off injured, but hopefully it's not too serious and we'll see him back on the tour, so that's a positive.
Pape Matar Sarr up next. 8s all round for Pape. I thought for the first 20 minutes, he was literally unplayable. He really was. He was driving at the QPR defence. He was using skill to get past their defenders. I'm not sure if he got a shot off or not, but he was a real handful. And in his first game back, maybe not up to full fitness, and I think you could see that as maybe he diminished out of the half a little bit towards the end of it. But those first 20, 25 minutes were brilliant from Pape, and hopefully he can keep growing that fitness from there and last longer in games.
Yeah, really strong energy levels. He looked like he'd been missing being on the pitch for sure. I thought covered so much ground. He was getting involved in a lot of the play, a lot of flicks around the corner, a lot of the play in and around the penalty area as well, looking sharp. So really encouraging stuff for Pape, and hopefully he can step up this season.
Brennan Johnson, 7s all round for Brennan. I thought in the first half, he was our most threatening outlet in the attacking lineup of Son and Timo Werner. He obviously got a few really good crosses in the box where no one was on the end of it, and a good cross in the box where Sonny maybe should have finished from. There were a couple of wayward crosses in there as well, but he kept getting in the right positions to get the ball into the box. He took on his man a few times quite successfully as well. So, I mean, I've seen a few people giving Brennan Johnson a bit of slack after this game, and I get it because he did put in a couple of poor performances, but I think on his whole performance level, I thought it was pretty good. I was quite happy with it.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for some poor finishing from Son, could have easily had 2 assists on the day. There was that one moment where he did so well to breeze past the player on the right-hand side, and he had loads of time to pick out a pass. He had some men running for the cutback, he had Son running for the near post, and he just rushed the cross and played it out of play, and that was really disappointing. But I thought he recovered well from that, had some really good moments where he was taking people on, he was providing good deliveries, and it was a shame that he didn't come up with some assists. So I thought it was actually a pretty decent display from Brennan.
Heung-min Son up next, 6s all round for Sonny. Really poor finishing, to be honest. Got to say that he should be finishing this game with at least 1 goal, maybe even 2. He was getting himself in the right position. He was making the right runs. It was just his finishing that did let him down on the day. But let it be said that his work rate was incredible in this game. He kept running back to help in defence. He was running all over the place. He was showing that leadership ability about telling players what to do, where to go, and yeah, look, it wasn't the greatest display in terms of finishing, but you could see he's just easing his well back in, hopefully.
Yeah, he was dropping deep a lot as well, which I noticed on doing. I thought sometimes to good effect, sometimes it didn't work where he was getting out-muscled, but obviously he did really well to get those 2 chances with some good runs. Some other times as well, he made some good runs and wasn't being found. I thought there was some good stuff, but also there were large parts of the game where he was being quite ineffective, so that was disappointing, but I thought he did okay.
Timo Werner up next, 5s all round for Timo. Probably the most frustrating player in that first half. A lovely ball from Dejan Kulusevski, and he's through on goal, and he just makes a whole huff of it, pretty much, and he should be doing a lot better. Apart from that, I mean, every time he got it on the left-hand side, he was being really frustrating. We're losing the ball, poor crosses in the box. I can't really remember too much positive that he did do throughout the game. Yeah,
his quality was lacking. I thought he had that trademark Werner dribble off the pitch moment, which seems to be a gamely occurrence at the moment. But he was threatening down the left-hand side, but whenever he got there, the quality was missing. And obviously, as you say, he had that big chance at the end of the half, which never looked comfortable, and he's one-on-one. It seems like whenever he has too much time to think about a finish, it seems to go wrong for him. So that definitely happened at the end of the first half, and I thought, yeah, unfortunately, the quality was lacking a bit in this one for him.
Moving on to the players in the second half, we go to Luka Gunter. 8s all round for Luka. Really impressive outing in his first time with the first team, and he looked strong, he looked massive, he looked assured. He kept claiming the crosses even when players were on him, and it could have been a difficult situation. Made a couple of really good saves in there as well, so I was really impressed with him.
Yeah, I thought he played really well, and he looked commanding. He had QPR had a lot of crosses, a lot of corners, in that second half, and I thought a lot of them he was coming and claiming them, and there are 12 corners in that second half, and for a few of them he was quite commanding, and for a young keeper that's quite impressive, and obviously made that brilliant save from Dykes from the corner from the header from a corner, which was heading right into the corner, and he had to use his fingertips and use his whole reach to get to that. And it was a brilliant save, kept the clean sheet, and a really strong second half showing from him.
Yeah. Jed Spence up next. The redemption arc is real. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him an 8. Another impressive performance from Jed. Probably just a little bit of a step down from his performance last week against Hearts, but nevertheless, he was a commanding presence on that right-hand side, always charging up the pitch through the central areas, down the flanks as well. He was a real handful for the QPR players to deal with. He was taking it past men. He was showing quality with little one-toucher moves. I mean, he really is putting himself in Ange Postecoglou's mind now.
Yeah, another really good display from Jed Spence. There was that nutmeg in the corner flag as well, which I'm sure there'll be a highlight to reel off. It was a really impressive piece of skill, and he seems a lot more confident now, maybe after that appearance on Wednesday night. He seemed to be trying things. There were a few more sloppy moments in this one, rather than against the game against Hearts, where he was near perfect. But I think he made up for it with some really good actions, and I thought he was really aggressive again, and defensively really strong. There was that one moment where he... the QPR winger had a few yards on him, and he was able to track back and get there and get the block in, trying really hard to get that block in. So that showed the kind of effort he's putting in at the moment.
Ashley Phillips at left centre-back, 7s all round for him. And I just can't believe the age he is. For such a young man, he's such a big presence. At one point, he was standing close to Emerson Royale, and he just made Emerson look small. And he's so calm, he's so assured, he's such a big presence in there at the back. Nothing much gets past him. And QPR had a lot of play in that second half. And I think he was a big reason, along with his defensive partner, why they didn't breach our goal. And look, we're looking for another centre-back to come in and play competition for Mickey van der Ven, and I think he looks very comfortable there at left centre-back, so why can't it be him?
He did, and I thought there was a moment as well where the chance for Mikey Moore all stemmed from a really good interception from Ashley Phillips, who played it to Decky, and I thought he was really accomplished again, doesn't get bullied, competing for those aerial duels, and I thought it was another really accomplished display from Ashley Phillips.
Emerson Royale up next, 7s all round for Emerson. Good display. You can't say anything but that. I think defensively on point, a few last-ditch tackles in there, a few interceptions in there, and I felt like him and Ashley Phillips actually forged quite a good partnership at the back.
Yeah, Emerson was pretty good, actually. Did some really good blocks when it looked like the Spurs backline was in trouble. He was there to make sure that any shots he was getting in front of. On the ball, still, obviously, not as smooth as we'd like it, but it's much better than he was last game. Obviously, he didn't give away a goal, which was positive. And I actually thought it was pretty decent, so fair play to Emerson. George
Abbott up next. Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 7. I thought his energy levels was brilliant. The amount he was running around on the pitch. Quality, I thought it was a bit up and down when he was getting up the pitch. I thought maybe he could have done a little bit better, but I'm not going to mark him down too much on that. His first appearance since Ryan Mason picked him at the back end of that season, which is a long time ago now, and I like the look of him, but I like the look of Max Robson as well.
Yeah, I didn't think he was as assured as Robson. Obviously, there's only a small sample size, but I thought a few times he got bullied off the ball, and a few times as well he gave the ball away in some poor areas, which could have cost Spurs, put us in trouble. And also going forward, I thought Robson was a bit better in the tighter areas, but he did show some good energy levels. Obviously, worked really hard and showed a bit of quality as well. But I didn't think he showed he was ready to be part of the team just yet.
James Maddison, we're giving him a 7s all round. I feel like every time he did get on the ball, he looked to play the ball forward and really hurt that QPR back line. I feel like you're seeing Maddison get back to his best and get back to his confident best. You saw that in the game against Hearts last week and in a few days ago, and I think you saw again today. I wouldn't say it's as a stronger performance, but he backed up with another good performance, so that's the main thing.
Yeah, and he was playing with the youngsters this time, and you saw he had that sense of responsibility. He tried to set up that chance for Lancashire, who was forced too far wide, unfortunately, but that was a really good piece of play from him. He was doing really well in the centre of the park, just pinging passes around, creating opportunities for his teammates, and I thought it was a pretty solid display from James.
Next up is Dejan Kulusevski, 8s all round. He actually came on about 25 minutes in for the injured Lucas Bergvall, and I thought Kulusevski put in a really strong performance. Creatively, he was laying on so many chances throughout the game. I'm not sure the numbers of how many chances he actually did create, but some of his touches, some of his strength that he was showing to brush off defenders, that pass pass into behind Werner was absolutely brilliant, and there were so many more in there as well. So really good display for Decky.
Yeah, looks so comfortable in that central area at the moment. Playing in the number 10 this time, and obviously he got the assist for Bissouma's first goal with another brilliant flick, very reminiscent of the flick that he performed on Wednesday. And I thought whenever he got on the ball, he was looking dangerous, he was looking bright, he was shoving players off, he was being strong, it was really hard to deal with, and that passing behind to Werner was inch perfect. And even though he went off, I think, after 20 minutes in the second half, I think he did more than most players did over the 90, so brilliant performance from Decky.
Alfie Devine, 8 all round for Alfie, and I was so impressed with Alfie Devine. He was playing in a deeper role, I think, before the substitutions happened, and I thought he took to that role really well. He was dictating the tempo of the game. He was bringing others into play. He was showing quality on the ball. I mean, this is the best I've seen Alfie Devine play in a Spurs shirt for sure.
Yeah, really solid from Alfie. I was really happy with him. Really accomplished in the middle. What he did was showed a really good range of passing, long-range passing, short-range passing, kept things simple when he had to. There was a period of the game moved into the number 8, and he excelled in that bit of play as well. Then he moved back into the 6. He looks like he's a player ready for that next level.
Next up is Mikey Moore. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him an 8. I thought Mikey Moore was looking really dangerous out on that right-hand side. He was getting the ball, trying to take men on. He was dribbling down the byline, getting crosses into the box. Maybe not, everyone worked, but, for a 16-year-old to keep going like he did, I thought it was really impressive, and he got his rewards to it at the end. Spurs were under the cosh against the run of play. He finds himself on the left-hand side, outside of the foot. Lovely ball to Dane Scarlett, and Dane Scarlett obviously nods it, pokes it home. So really good performance again from Mikey Moore. That's 3 in goal contributions in 3 friendlies so far.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. I thought it was a really good second half performance from him. Obviously, he had that chance as well, which Decky played him in, and with a bit more luck, he could have had a goal. Unfortunately, it was a good save from the goalkeeper, but he's getting involved. He's not shying away from the ball, and when he does get it, yes, sometimes he gets shoved off the ball too easily, but other occasions he isn't, and he's beating players, and he's making things happen. And another really good moment for him with the assist, and he's really contributing this pre-season. So great second half performance from Mikey.
Will Lancashire, 6 all round. Wasn't as a good of a display as it was last time out against Hearts. I felt like he didn't really get into the game in this one. Was fairly frustrating, but I felt like if he was on the pitch for longer, he could have potentially got back into the game and contributed a bit more. But look, he's a young player. It's going to happen, and hopefully more to come. Yeah,
he didn't have that much time, and I think he was obviously it was unfortunate for him that he only had 20 minutes. Maybe if he had a bit longer, he could have made something happen. He had that one big chance, which Maddison plays him in, and he actually did really well to get to the ball because there's a few defenders around him, and he was able to use his physicality to get there first, but he just forced himself a bit too far wide, went around the keeper, but the angle was too tight and went to the side netting. Other than that, unfortunately, he wasn't too involved. I think they had another moment where he had a header at the back post, which he was just a bit too high for him. But look, at least he was involved a bit, and he was trying different things. Didn't quite work for him. But again, he only had 20 minutes, so can't judge him too harshly. Yeah.
Manor Solomon up next. 5s all round for Manor. It wasn't as frustrating maybe as his last performance, where he just kept getting the ball and just kept losing it, and kept all his crosses got intercepted. In this game, he did try and show his dribbling ability, where as he was getting the ball, he was cutting inside, he was laying it off to maybe other players, but I don't feel like he really hurt that QPR back line.
Yeah, I thought he was poor, to be honest. Again, didn't really do much on the left-hand side. When he got the opportunity to take people on, flattered to deceive quite a bit. There was that one moment, I mean, he was kind of involved in the goal, the second goal, but I think more of luck than on purpose. I think he tried to flick it into, I think it was Scarlett, or he tried to flick it to the left, and it kind of went to the right to Mikey Moore because he kind of missed the ball, and then Moore went and scored. But again, didn't really... Like, Mikey Moore did more than him. This is a 16-year-old, and I know Solomon's been out for a year, but he's a player who's now 24, 25. He's had a lot more experience, and he should be doing probably a bit more than he is at the moment.
Next up is Alejo Veliz. 5s all round for Veliz. I feel like he came on, didn't have too much time, came on for the last 20 minutes or so. Made a few good runs, but that's about it. I can't really remember too much that Alejo did, to be honest.
Yeah, unfortunately, didn't have many chances to speak of. He did do some really good pressing stuff, and there was that one moment where he picked the ball up from 30 yards and ran at the defence and looked to make something happen. Unfortunately, didn't come off for him. He looked bright, he looked energetic, but unfortunately didn't have too many opportunities to show off what he's capable of up front.
And Dane Scarlett, 7s all round. So good for him to get his goal finally. And after that first game against Hearts, he had a few chances, kept snatching at the shots, and there were poor finishes. You could see he's a man maybe a bit low on confidence, really needing a goal. So I was really happy for him to finally get in front of his defender and poke it home. He did really well in that sense of the game. But apart from that, there was not much in it. But I think that was his first touch of the ball, his goal. And I don't think he had too many after that.
Yeah, and I think he came on with 10 minutes to go, got the goal, and that was it. But really good piece of forward movement to get to the goal. It wasn't easy to get there, and he made sure that he busted a gut to get in front of his defender, and he got the poke on the ball, got it in the back of the net. Didn't have a lot of time, but he made the most of it. And look, whatever you want to say about Scarlett, last game he came on for 10 minutes and had a few chances and unfortunately couldn't get them, put them away. This time he only had 10 minutes, got his chance, he scored. So the least you could say about him is this guy gets involved in things, and he doesn't want to be anonymous. He wants to get involved and get chances and work hard for the team. So he did that.
And I feel like he always does do that even when he comes on. Last season when we saw him in the few times that we did. But finally, we're going to finish off on Tyrese Hall. 6s all round for Tyrese. Didn't have too much time, and yeah, it showed because there was not much in there for Tyrese.
Well, he came on. I can't remember when he came on. I think he came on the 60th. He came on the 66th and went on the 85th. So he came on and went off in the second half. So he'll be a bit annoyed with that. Didn't have enough opportunity. I did think, to be fair, actually in this one, he was losing the ball a lot more than he was last game. I don't know if that was linked to him coming off, or maybe he just wanted to give someone else an opportunity. But I was disappointed with Hoy. What didn't seem his most confident self in this one.
All right, well, there you have it. That is your player ratings from the 2-0 win against QPR. Let me know your ratings in the comments section below. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.